I mean, I've never had someone just kind of show up and call me up and say, Dan, I want to be a world champion in the Olympic lifts. Why? Well, you know, I was on Wikipedia and I saw that was one of the sports. No, there's always a story that gets you there. So I guess on that, trust your story, trust your journey. Number 2, there are mentors out there. There are people willing to help you. But you've got to do a little bit too. You've got to walk that walk. If you take the steps forward, mentors will show up to bail you out. So I was a 9th grade discus thrower, you know. I was good. I was pretty good, you know. I taught myself how to turn, you know, which is hard to do, especially at the time because there wasn't a lot of role models. And I bought a book called the Track and Field Omni book. And in there, basically, it talks about a guy named Ralph Mon at Utah State. And basically, I figured out he's got to be the best discus coach in America. I want to go to Utah State. In hindsight, I look back on my time at Utah State. It was a wonderful time. 90, 91, I think I was a pretty good force in both throwing and Olympic lifting. Throughout the 90s, I think I was pretty successful. In the early 2000s, I blew my wrist apart right after winning that national championship in weightlifting. And what are the lessons I learned? Well, the first thing is, when I was told I'd never lift again, my first thought was, okay. And this is something I'm sorry for the segue, but it's important. See, I think sometimes we get stuck in goal setting. And I'm a big fan of goal setting, you know that. But the important thing that sits behind, above, on top, is what's the mission? And what was nice about this injury was I realized that I wanted to be fit. It wasn't so much I'd never lift again, but how can I give back to all those people who helped me before? And so my first answer was, let's start a newsletter. And boy, I tell you, in its run, it became an amazing thing. It became a big deal on the internet when a new issue had come out. The 2 great lessons I've learned from that is, you know, there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be obstacles, no matter what your goal is. But the idea is that, on both sides, is that this movie ain't over. No matter what you get hit with, if you really have a foundation for what you want to do, you can overcome a lot of stuff. And I always tell people, look backwards a little bit. Schopenhauer says something interesting. He says, you know, as you get older, and I'm 54. I mean, that's not older, but it's older. He says, all those random things that you thought were accidents in your life, when you look over your shoulder backwards, it's what drives you to where you are today. I'm always amazed at people when they don't go after their dreams, goals, their mission, because they're afraid of something. It's like the Scarecrow of Oz. L. Frank Baum didn't just write The Wizard of Oz. He went on to write probably 12 of these books. In one, the Scarecrow of Oz says, ordinary people are like leaves on trees. When they die, they just fall off. I like the extraordinary people. And it's been something I've noticed my whole life is that, you know, you can have a wonderful life, but always be woulda, shoulda, coulda yourself. You know, I think would've, shoulda, coulda is so painful when you had those chances. You keep watching those opportunities, those chances fly by, that it's more painful long term to not leap than it is to just stand against the rim and watch all your friends go, okay, I'm going to go back down. And we all know how dangerous it is to go back down that rocky crevice. Leap, man, get in there, let it happen. Every great thing I've ever done in my life, not a lot of people thought I could do it. Everything. You just have to get used to it, that not everybody wants to be extraordinary. But I can't imagine not at least swinging away.